Dr. Mathebula, how are you doing?
No, I'm fine. And how are you guys?
We are Ilogofisio Hippopocunoras. We're having a Gargantuan day, Dr. Mathebula.
You? Yeah. Thanks. The network is okay, as opposed to last week. Last week I was in the rural areas and the network was bad.
Yeah.
That's why I decided that, because we deprived our listeners of the information that we were discussing last weekend. That's why we decided today that we are going to repeat what we prepared last week.
And the good thing about it is that we had also some requests from listeners to say they were unable to actually hear us very well, and they would also like us to repeat what we have spoken about last week. And the one called Sibusiso as well is here today. He liked to be part of the discussion as well, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said they would like us to repeat. More often than not, people say they want you to repeat again. Now, if you say repeat again, it says again.
You see, sometimes we need to speak proper. And Dr. Mathebula, you are a person that we know your diction is, top level. We will not say it's opulent or posh, but it's on a very good level.
Yeah, if you want to get rid of, maybe if you want to be familiar with the language, you must buy the Star every Friday.
Exactly. Because I think the last week column that you wrote, Dr. Mathebula, there was something that I couldn't find in the English Lexington, Dr. Mathebula.
Yo. I can't recall what was it.
Yeah, but let's not talk about that one. Dr. Mathebula will stick with what we have to do today. Dr. Mathebula. Now, we were talking about seductive drivers, and we were speaking about we focus on one, but the drivers are money and sex, and the focal point was money, Dr. Mathebula. Can you refresh our memory?
Yeah, we spoke about seductive drivers, which is money and sex. But we said for the sake of the program today, we are going to focus on money.
Yes. So, Dr. Mathebula, let's talk about money. Because I know in the past you said that men generally have the insatiable desire for sex, and generally women have the insatiable desire for money. Now, the two things are the things that are causing people to be seductive, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah, absolutely. A seducer is fully aware of your weaknesses. Like, for example, he knows that a man has got this insatiable desire for sex. And on the other side of the coin, a woman has got an insatiable desire for money. Now, when a seducer comes into your life, she knows that she or he knows that you are obsessed about these things. And then he comes into your life, trying to, what do they call it? A carrot, like dangling a carrot. And then they know that you'd often fall into the snare of the fowler.
Exactly. Now, is money everything, Dr. Mathebula?
Well, it's a very good question, and I'm glad you brought it up. Money is not everything, but without it, we are miserable. If you don't have money, you'll be miserable, whether you like it or not.
So is money synonymous with love, Dr. Mathebula?
To many people, love, money is synonymous with love. If you don't have love, if you don't have money, you are going to miss out on a lot of things. I've seen situations whereby you have got this man, he's not good looking, and yet the man is moneyed.
It's loaded with money.
Yeah, he's moneyed. You see, but he's not good looking, and yet such a man has got a very beautiful woman. Now it's then that you actually realize that although money is not everything, but without it, you are miserable.
So in other words, we will say without money, there will be no love.
Yeah, well, because money can do so many things. Money can accomplish a lot of things. And then, for example, if you want to go on a date, or you want to go to a hotel, or you want to fly to Cape Town, you need money. You know, without money, you can't accomplish all these things. But there are some people who are actually using money negative. Whenever they go into the relationship, their focal point is money. It's jackpot. You know, you fall in love with this woman, and then she sees vision as this ambitious man, this kind man, and then more often than not, people have got a tendency, or maybe to put it in Vision's, terminology, a predilection for money. You know, whenever they see you being kind, they realize that, hey, Lana, petty jackpot, I'm going to catch the ATM. And then the whole purpose of love loses its meaning, because now the focal point is about money. You want to catch on this person. You don't want to develop being in this relationship. You don't want to work together and grow together. You are there for money.
Why would a seducer try to pretend to share something in common with you, Dr. Mathebula?
Yeah, the other time we spoke about tribes, and then we defined a tribe as people, a group of people who have got a community of views or community of interest. You share something in common. And other people will come into your life pretending as though they are part and parcel of your tribe. Whereas they're not part and parcel of your tribe. They're there for money. They're there to extract money from you. It could be a man, it could be a woman.
So those people are actually pushing their own agenda, but in pretense that they share something in common with you.
Yeah, absolutely. But the bottom line is they are there for money. They're not there for love. They're not there for growth. You might be naive and think that, this person is here for growth. We belong to one tribe. And the example that I gave last week, I said, you and Vision, you belong to one tribe, the musical tribe. And this person might actually come as an imposter, pretending as though she's interested in music, she's interested in the genre, she's interested in, what is happening internationally in terms of hip hop, only to find that this person is there for money, not for any other thing.
So let's talk about the behavioral indicators of a financial seducer, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah, firstly, they'll create an atmosphere where you must sympathize with them. For example, a person might say, my phone is outdated. That's why I can't have a long conversation with you to discuss books or to discuss music. Now you'd actually feel guilty and say, you know what, I have to do something about the situation. I have to buy a phone because we can't have, quality discussions because this person does not have a phone.
And then we have got a question, Dr. Mathebula. And then the question is from... okay, Sbuda will ask that question on behalf of a friend, Dr. Mathebula. Yes, Sbuda.
Dr. Mathebula.
Hi.
How are you, sir?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Just a quick question, right? There's a saying that says "Ubuhle bendoda buses bayensakhe," right?
Yeah.
So what would you say that really means? Because if we kind of dissect it, right, it says a beauty of a man, or let me just say, we translate it, it says a beauty of a man is in his scroll, meaning a man should have money to be beautiful.
Yeah, no, I fully understand what you are saying. A man must actually have money in order to afford a lot of things. For example, it's not an offense if you take your woman on a date, or you go on a holiday, or you buy her something and the like. That it's not an offense. But on the other side of the coin, you have got people who are there not for love.
Okay.
They're not there to love you, but they see you as an ATM. They want to catch on you, and they'll actually create all these scenarios, in order for them to get money from you. Like, for example, I've just given, this scenario now of saying that, I don't have a good phone. That's why we don't have quality discussions. And the following day, there is another emergency. You know that my parents are in KZN. Their house, burnt down because of some lightning. Can I actually have 1,500 so that I can take a trip to KZN, and maybe I have to help them with some groceries. Now this person would actually, and when you are discussing something that you feel that is very urgent, is very important, a person will actually deviate and talk about money issues so that you can actually give money. I'm talking about such people who are there in a relationship, not for love, but they are there for money. But it's not an offense to take your, to take your wife or your girlfriend to a restaurant or to buy a present. No, it's not an offense. That's part and parcel of life. But the problem is when that person wants money from you, wants to exploit you. When a relationship becomes exploitative, is when we have got a problem.
Okay. Now, what happens, to that relationship when you realize that you are being manipulated financially, Dr. Mathebula?
Yeah, when you start realizing that this person is not in your life because she wants growth or development or any other thing. Firstly, affection and passion will decrease. You are not going to love her the way you used to love her. And then also communications will decrease. For example, you used to phone her maybe twice per day or thrice per day. You may not actually even phone her anymore because you realize that you are in love with an imposter. And also development may also decrease. For example, you might actually say, well, I met this woman and then she has got a potential to become a train driver, and then I'm going to groom her towards that direction. And then now you realize this person is not here for development. And then now you suspend the developmental agenda, and also the relationship of trust, because you must actually understand that trust is a glue that holds the relationship together. The relationship of trust may decrease. And once there's no relationship of trust in a relationship, that relationship is weak.
You have always said that, talk about the purpose of a relationship. Can you just enlighten us, what you've always been saying about the purpose of a relationship, Dr. Mathebula?
Yeah, well, I've always said, and my view has always been, we meet for the sake of a particular purpose. For example, I believe that when a man and a woman are in a relationship, the aim of that relationship should be growth. You need to grow within that relationship. You need to be a better person. You need to have better perspectives in a relationship. For example, the example that I often give, it's when Adam saw Eve for the first time, he said, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, and I'll call a woman. You must actually have that excitement. You must grow in a relationship. You must not be in a relationship in order to use the other person. You must be there in a relationship in order to work together, to be better people together, not to use the other person, but use the relationship to grow, but don't use each other.
Can we have an example of one of such, Dr. Mathebula?
Yeah, for example, if you, as I said to you, that you must not be in a relationship to use each other. You must use the relationship to develop. What I'm saying to you is you need to look at your partner and say, these are the shortcomings of my partner. And then these are the interventions. For example, you might actually find that you come across a partner and only to find that her knowledge of English is sketchy. I'm just giving an example. And then you might actually say that, I'm going to make it a point that I buy her developmental books. And then whenever we discuss, I try by all means to give the correct grammar. I mean, she might actually say, hey, Stan, let us discuss about books. And he said, no, in English, you don't say, let us discuss about books. You say, let us discuss books. She might say, no, I'm going to see you next week. And he said, no, in English, you don't say next week, week after next. Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah. Now, what I'm saying to you is that you are there to develop a person, and also on the other side of the coin, you might actually find that your dress code is awful. And then now this woman comes into your life and says, no, Stan, this is not how you should dress.
Yes.
You know, this is the type of a shirt that you must buy. This is the type of, of shoes you must buy, or trouser, just like that. You know, she's there to develop you, to make you a better person.
Like my wife, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah.
You see, the example that you made in terms of the dress code and all of those things, she take care of me. So I feel actually very, very developed, you know, for like the past 30 years, Dr. Mathebula.
I flex.
Yeah. For example, when I met my wife, I didn't put on pajamas.
Yeah.
You know, and then she taught me how to put on pajamas, and now I can't sleep without a pajama. That's part and parcel of development.
Dr. Mathebula, just a question right now. Do you think if you meet a woman and you are a young man and you are a rapper, right? And you are very light in complexion, right?
And getting puffed.
And you wear like those huge chains around your neck, and your woman says, you know, my sweetheart, if you can be able to just, you know, reduce the type of chains in your neck, you know, you will actually look good. Wouldn't that be developmental, Dr. Mathebula?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, no, it's a very good question. I think what you need there, I think you need to, you know, a person must know exactly your personality, exactly what is your personality, what is your character. I know that you're talking about vision.
Because if she comes and changes the chain, she wants to wear them herself.
Yeah. Because firstly, Vision is an artist. Yeah. And then I think when he has got a chain on, that chain actually symbolizes that he's an artist, and then he represents a particular genre.
And I wanted to say, and he needs to stand out in the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And that chain has got two hearts, which is a symbol, which means that if two hearts are always together, nothing on earth can separate them. So she must be happy to see, you know, when she sees that chain. Maybe in Afrikaans, as two hearts altyd so saam is, kan net op aarde skyn. If two hearts are always together, nothing on earth can separate them.
You know, Dr. Mathebula, I don't know whether the network can discriminate against Africans, but we didn't hear anything. You know, there was a bit of a break.
Yeah.
Ja, I said in Afrikaans, as twee harte altyd so saam is, kan niks op aarde hulle skyn nie.
Oh, ja, ek verstaan. No, Dr.
No, you don't say ek verstaan wat jy bedoel.
Hey. Ja, meneer.
Yeah, you got some people actually excited here in the studio. Dr. Mathebula, but thank you so very much. That was a bit of a jab on Vision. Vision is an artist and a very good one at that. But he does wear chains that does not have hearts that represent two people. But in any case, we haven't got a quotable codes today. We've got a vocabulary cabinet. What do we have, Dr. Mathebula?
Yeah, we've got the word called cudgel, which, you know, it has got two connotations. The first connotations mean a short, thick, heavy stick or other object used as a weapon. You know, okay. And the second connotations means to begin to support or act strongly in favor of. And the example that I gave, President Cyril Ramaphosa took up the cudgels for women for women's rights.
Okay.
So he took the cudgel for women's rights. Vision. Do you have? Would you put it in maybe in a different sentence? Would you have a different example?
Shaga used the cudgel to beat. I haven't even finished. But think about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, then, I think Vision is too silly in the studio, and I think you need to, you know, to keep a cudgel in the studio.
Yeah.
Seconded.
Yeah. You see, he is too insufferable, Dr. Mathebula.
Yo. Yeah. I'm sure he has forgotten the meaning of insufferable.
Yeah, but the thing is, at least it's insufferable, but it's not suggestible, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah, insufferable. You know, that's why an English professor said to students that when you speak English, please avoid using a lot of adjectives because other sentences, other words in the sentence start fighting for attention. Because now you listen to insufferable and suggestible, objectionable, agreeable.
No, but vision is not suggestible, so which is a very good thing. Vision, you are not suggestible, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So the first one, I was saying you are revolting, but today you are revolting.
No, but think about it. Shaka used the cudgel to beat
Were you there?
the other. Didn't you hear what cudgel is?
No, but
It
now
is
how do you know? How do you know that Shaka used the cudgel?
Because a
What if
spear is a stick or a weapon. Like you see, Spoo sleeping, then I'm the one who's suggestible.
Yeah, you see, who is sleeping on Dr. Mathebula. Dr. Mathebula, we'd like to apologize for this young man called Siso.
And vision.
Yes, doctor.
Vision. I'm saying to you, once you the day you get married, you need to use your cudgel effectively.
Hey!
Yes. Don't drink and drive. I won't forget.
Dr. Mathebula, as always, we thank you so very much for your wisdom. We really appreciate your coming here every week without any, without failing. There are people who always looking out for this slot, Dr. Mathebula, or segment. They say I must not say segment. I must say segment, Dr. Mathebula.
Good English. Kambule would have said good English.
So, Dr. Mathebula.
Yeah.
Since you have suggested what Vision should do, please, are you going to be able to attend his connubial cementation?
I will, and I'll be one of the guest speakers.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Mathebula. Dr. Mathebula will attend your connubial cementation.
Yes, if I have one.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Mathebula. That was Dr. Mathebula.
Okay, thank you, guys.